Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Ways and Means Committee meeting to order, please, for July 10th meeting. If you would please stand and join me in a pledge to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Stockin?
Present.
Mr. Fanton?
Here.
Mrs. Burdick? Here. Mr. Demick?
Here.
Mr. Havey?
Here.
Mr. Healy?
Here.
Mr. Ricky?
Here.
Mrs. Root? And Mr. Harris? 7 present, 1 absent.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from June 26, please. Motion.
And we'll move that.
Havey will second.
Are there any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And they're carried. Need approval of the audit that was sent to you and copies on your desk. Can we have a motion, please?
Healy will move it.
Ricky, second.
Are there questions about any items on the audit? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Clerk of the Board has insurance recovery for us.
Yes, we received a reimbursement from the insurance company to replace a windshield on our 2023 Chevy Traverse. And we need a motion to accept that.
Demick will move.
Havey will second.
Are there any questions?
Sure. I just want you to know that although I discovered the crack, I was not the cause of the crack.
Likely story.
Can we get that in writing?
That was Mr. Harris wishing to not acknowledge any part of the crack in that windshield, though he would not say that on a mic, live mic. It was just a quiet voice in the background. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. And then I need to ask the county administrator to step forward and explain to us why we have 2 resolutions for grant applications that we need to have withdrawn.
The other one's still warming up, so we did have a resolution previously setting forward a public hearing for both of these grant applications. That is this afternoon. And in your board packet for this afternoon would be resolutions to allow us to apply for the grants following those public hearings. That's the way we normally do these things. In our ongoing conversations with Delta and Hunt Engineering, we've discovered that we're not quite ready to apply for these. Our seeker really needs to be fully completed before the application is submitted, and it will not be before the application deadline. So we felt it best not to move forward on those applications. We'll hopefully be able to apply for them next year for the same sorts of projects. So at this point in time, although we're going to continue the public hearings this afternoon, you will not be asked to move forward with an application. So it would make sense that here at this level meeting, you ask for those 2 resolutions to be withdrawn so that you don't have to motion it and second it this afternoon just to withdraw it. Less motions that way.
Okay, could we have a motion?
Fan will move that.
Havey will second.
Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we aren't going to get this grant money, do we have are we going to try some other way to fund this, or it's just going to have to wait for another year?
We have several grants out there. We already have a couple of grants or funding requests, federal funding requests for these projects. We are very ambitious at looking at any sort of funding we can put towards these projects to lower the cost of the local share to go towards them. On the other hand, so that goes towards the projects, we hate to lose funding opportunities, and we always have a list of projects we're looking for funding for. We are looking to move forward on that CDBG line. You're allowed up to $50,000 towards planning studies. We know we want to do a housing study, so we're also asking separately, not part of this motion, to move those grant funding streams towards a housing study in lieu of that. So we don't lose an opportunity to get some money for something.
Are there other questions? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. County Attorney has a budget transfer request for us.
Good afternoon. I'm here today requesting a resolution to transfer funds within my office's budget in the amount of $1,700 from my office's fees account to the office equipment account for the purchase of computer equipment.
We have a motion?
Healy will move it.
Hay will second.
Are there questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we have a budget modification to transfer ARPA funds for the purchase of equipment for the Allegheny County Sheriff's Office, and this comes from the Public Safety Committee. I'll let Mr. Havey say anything he wishes to.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee will notice that there are three memorandums of explanation before you. One of them will okay the purchase of two vehicles, a UTV and a golf cart. Then there are two other memorandums of explanation before you where you can approve each of these separately, or, of course, as you know, not at all. At this morning's public safety meeting, a number of questions came up that I couldn't answer, and I've asked the sheriff if he would kindly step up and answer some questions regarding the all-terrain vehicle, the golf cart, or both, or the purchase, or whatever your pleasure is for questions. Thank you, Sheriff.
Ask away.
There we go.
One of the questions I remember was on UTV that was ordered with tracks, and does it also have the option for wheels?
It does. It would be both.
It'll be both, okay. Thank you.
Question. Is that part of the reason for the price? I mean, for the expense? It seems like it's kind of high for a UTV, but I haven't bought any new ones lately or at all, I guess. But and did we bid this out?
Yes, my understanding is we got 3 bids. That was a requirement, correct, Carissa?
So we haven't bid yet. This is just a quote. We will need to complete the bidding process. I'm aware Wyoming County did a bid last year, and who won that for what amount? Well, we can't piggyback off of it because it doesn't have that language in it, but we can use that as specs to bid ourselves. Same machine, same requirements.
We have 3 quotes. I apologize, not bids, 3 quotes.
And that's actually a really good price.
right?
The golf cart was quoted, the UTV was bid. Yep, because of the amounts. Anything, I think it was 20,000 and under, we said just needs quotes. Anything over that needs bidding.
And that's actually a really good price for the UTV these days.
Is that a two-passenger, or is that?
It's a 2-passenger, and I've actually been shopping for one myself. The prices have skyrocketed on those in recent years, for sure.
Okay, well, that seems like that certainly makes sense that you guys ought to have one of those down there. And the golf cart, that's,
The golf cart is, yeah. The golf cart's electric.
how
The
many,
golf cart is electric, yes.
how many passenger?
For the golf cart? Is that what, I'm sorry, Mike, is that what you're asking? Yeah, the golf cart's going to be, it's going to have a rear passenger rack as well as a front rack. So I'd say 4 would be comfortable.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Scott.
Good afternoon.
Could you explain to me exactly what you're going to be using these pieces of equipment for?
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely. The golf cart is more for personnel transportation when we're at events. For example, 4th of July,
Cuba Dairy Week, Wellsville Balloon Rally, Allegheny County Fair, things of that nature, mostly for transporting personnel back and forth. During the hot winter, or the hot summer months, obviously with our uniforms being what they are, it's a long walk sometimes from where the guys have to park their cars to come in. This would be a way for us to speed up the process. It'd also be used for other things. The golf cart, we could use it at our facility to assist with certain things on our grounds. I think that just as far as the use is concerned, personnel-wise, I think it'd be very valuable. We usually borrow one from the Wellsville Country Club. Charlie Joyce has been very, very gracious to us and allows us to borrow one each year. But there are some years, we can't get one for whatever reason. So we've just found that it's really improved the quality of life for our people, especially on the ground, when we can transport them back and forth with a golf cart.
And then my other question is for Terry. Could you tell us what the balance is in the ARPA funding, and is there enough money to cover this out of ARPA, or is there other funds that have already been committed?
After the purchase of the mental health building, we had $118,000 that was not allocated anywhere or held anywhere. With this purchase, we would have $63,000, almost 64 left. We have been kind of hanging on to some of that. I know you guys you've allocated or set aside money for the fair. We haven't used that yet, but we knew that because of the roof issues that we've had recently and the contingency that was not funded before. So we did have that, kind of noted in here, but with this purchase, we would have $63,000 that's not set aside for anything yet.
And it is appropriate, you have to appropriate that all this year on one project or another, but it is important that you're aware of it, because I think you've had several discussions on several projects, and we just haven't had information from the board on which ones you want to move forward for ARPA, so.
Question?
Sure.
So is your budget on track for the year?
Yes.
Okay. And so there's no money is available in your budget for
we have not budgeted for anything like this. And if we were going to try and purchase it through the budget process, then we would do it for the coming year. We wouldn't be asking for it at this point. The thought of using the ARPA funds made sense.
Right. Well, obviously they'll need replacing down the road. Is that something you think we should do? Have an item in your budget for those vehicles so it doesn't all hit us all at once next time?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, honestly, we've still got two four-wheelers that I think we purchased back in the early 2000s, and they're still being, utilized to the best of their ability. So, I mean, it's not something, if we purchase the side-by-side and we purchase the golf cart new, I see it's something we have minimum 10 years at least.
Okay, thank you.
Question, you have the capacity to transport these things around from site to site,
We do.
just within your department?
We do, yes.
Other questions? Okay, let's start with excuse me, Ms. Barnes?
Would these be used strictly in the county?
Yes. I'm not sure where you're going with that, but yes.
Well, I mean, if a neighboring county needed some help, or especially with that all-terrain type thing that you...
Well, I guess I'll
In other words,
qualify that answer with, I mean, if there's an emergency and they're requesting our immediate assistance and we have the ability to assist them with our equipment, I've never said no in that circumstance, but I think that's only happened twice in 3 years.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, other questions? Okay, let's address a resolution to purchase both of these for $54,350 from the ARPA funds. Could I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. Demick.
You'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any additional questions? Okay, all in favor? Art? Oh, excuse me.
You have two existing four-wheelers, is that it?
We do.
Okay, thank you.
No golf carts.
Okay, we'll go back, ready to vote. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Aye. And that's carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming out. Are there any referrals from committee? Public Works, excuse me.
County Superintendent of Public Works Thomas Windus is requesting permission to fill one full-time heavy motor equipment operator position, bargaining unit grade 13, and I will move that.
Helio, second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Allegheny County Sheriff Scott Cicerello is requesting permission to fill 5 part-time emergency services dispatcher positions. The hourly pay rate for these is $24.6289, if you want to go to that many digits. These positions are funded 100% with county funds and are included in the budget, and I will move that.
Demickle, second.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried.
Sheriff Cicerello requests a resolution to accept the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Law Enforcement Technology Grant and establish and create a new capital account. New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services Law Enforcement Technology Grant. The grant has been awarded to the Sheriff's Office for $264,000. This will allow the Sheriff's Office to purchase body-worn camera equipment, and I will move that.
Helio, second.
Are there questions?
Just got a question too.
Yes, sir.
Is this a new grant this year? I think the sheriff said yes from the back. Thank you.
Other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you.
Okay, next. Budget Officers Carissa Knapp and Terry Ross are requesting a resolution to approve an agreement with Medical Transport Services for 911 Emergency Advanced Life Support Services for county residents. This is in the amount of $630,000, and I will move that.
Demickle, second.
Okay, and note this is for all the remainder of 2024.
Correct.
So, other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. Thank you. Resource Management. Go ahead.
County Administrator Carissa Knapp is requesting permission to fill up to 3 temporary lifeguard positions, Section 4, at the Rushford Public Beach. And I'll move that.
Helio, second.
Are there questions? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And that's carried. That's all the referrals that I have. Is there any unfinished business? New business? Good of the order.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would be pleased to announce a caucus at 1:30 in the DPW conference room.
Thank you. Anything else? Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Patton will second that.
All in favor? Opposed? And we are adjourned.